Hello, everyone. Good to be back with you again. I'm here with your reading for the week. I just want to remind you that if you are curious or interested in a personal reading, you can always book one of those in the notes below on YouTube or in the link in my bio on Instagram. I'm going to be raising the prices for my readings in the next couple of weeks. So this is a great time to book one if it's something that you've been curious about or wanting for yourself. So just wanted to put that in there at the beginning. I hope that you all have had a beautiful week and that you have found some sense of peace within yourself, some sense of healing and groundedness within yourself, given all of the pain and ungroundedness in the world around us. I know that I really appreciated the message that came through in last week's reading, so I hope that it supported you as well. And if you haven't listened to it yet, I highly recommend going back and checking out last week's reading. It was a really powerful one. But let's go ahead and dive in and see what is happening this week. So give me a second here to set my space. And I apologize in advance if there's barking in the background. There are dogs in this house, and I cannot control, no matter how psychic I am, I cannot control when they decide to bark. Okay. So the question I'd like to ask this week is, what is a lesson that we are going to be asked to learn or to look at or to revisit coming up this week? So what is the lesson? And this is coming in at an orange color. It's sort of a palish medium orange. It's the color I'm going to be reading this from. So what is the lesson? So here I see you sitting here and you have dice or die in your hands, and you're kind of, shaking them and throwing them out at the table. Well, actually, now that I look at it more closely, it's like there's a hand that's doing that, and then you're sitting across the table from the hand and sort of watching it intently as, it shakes the die and then casts them. And you're really intently focused on what's gonna be the result once the die are cast. Your brow is kind of furrowed here. You're concentrating really hard. So what's happening here? It's like you're waiting to see what happens with these die before making your next move. It's like you're like, I need this information in order to be able to know anything about what to do next. But the energy on your face is really kind of strained, and it's a little bit heavy, a little bit stressed, just in the intent, the way that you're so intently looking at the hand as it casts these die. So what is this about? And it's interesting because these dice are like, it's like information about the future. And it's like you're waiting, I relate to this. You're waiting to see what the information about the future is going to be before you make your decision in the now moment. And again, that's causing a lot of strain for you. And what it's also doing is taking away a sense of your own agency as far as what to do in this present moment, because you're stuck. You're just sitting there like waiting and looking and watching to see what's going to happen in order to have the information you're going to need. But the stuck thing here is that it doesn't work that way. Like you can't receive information about the future to make the decision in the present because you haven't lived that yet. You haven't had that experience yet. That information hasn't come to you yet. And it's sort of like this catch-22. It's like this stuck energy of, well, I can't move forward until I have this information, but it doesn't work that way. So where is this stuck energy coming from? And it's showing me your feet and like where they are on the floor. And this is really pointing to like a kind of a sense of ungroundedness is what I'm seeing here. Yeah, it's like a nervousness. It's a clinging. There's an anxiety to it. Feeling ungrounded in your life and in the present moment, and therefore focusing on, well, what's going to happen in the future in order to make me feel grounded right now. But again, that's sort of a losing battle here, because you're always like one step behind because it's not possible to live in the future when you're living here now. It's so interesting to see it this way, because obviously I think we all understand this, but the way that I'm seeing the energy, it's very cool. So if you're feeling ungrounded, I want to kind of dig into that a little bit more. Like, what's behind that? And I see these kind of like cords of energy that are reaching down from your feet towards the earth. And it's like they're wanting to reach into the center of the earth, but they stop short. They can't get all the way there. They're kind of dangling. It's a sense of like, well, I have nothing to hold on to, or I have nothing to connect to, or I have nothing to ground to. Let me clear some energy off of this. It's nearly impossible to ground or to feel grounded in the present moment when you are hyper focused on what's going to happen next in the future. And this isn't to say you can't plan or look ahead or anything like that. Obviously, we need to do those things too, but the sense of needing to know something about the future to happen or to come to you before you can do something in the present is what's stuck here. And you can't get grounded in the now, which is, again, the only place you can ground is in what's actually here in front of you in the present moment. It's impossible to do that when you're focused on the future, or hyper-focused or anxious about the future, let's say. Because I think in some sense it's obviously good to be focused on the future, moving towards something. And that's the nuance here. As I'm looking at it, I'm like, well, let me look at it rather than just telling you what I think. And what the picture is showing me is that there's a very clear energetic difference between orienting towards the future, towards a goal or towards something you want or something you're building, and being in this energy of needing to know what's going to happen before you can kind of do anything in the present moment towards that. It's a very different energy. So what is the next step here for you, for all of us in this lesson that we're going to be learning this week? What's the next step to move energy around this or to shift things? And I see you standing here with your eyes closed. There's sort of this line of energy. It's sort of yellowy, whitish, yellowy gold that's running sort of straight through the center of your body, or like directly in front of you, almost touching your nose. You look like you're sort of in meditation here. There's a very deep sense of, well, it's focus, but it's focus that's different from focusing on the dice. This is focus internally, whereas the focus in the original picture was, okay, what's coming towards me? What hand am I going to be dealt? What are the things that are going to be happening? And here it's very much inwardly focused. It's a focus on, let me get more clarity on what this energy is. Well, it's sort of a way to quiet all of the anxiety. I mean, it's very much connected to like a traditional sense of meditation or mindfulness is sort of what I'm seeing here. It's like the centering in, the getting calm, the getting still. Is there anything else to know about that? Is that the next step, is getting calm and still? I see you kind of putting your hands around this line of energy like this. And when you do that, it sort of turns into like a lightsaber where you can kind of turn it on and off. And it's sort of the reminder here that you have the power to connect to this center, this sense of calm, of alignment, of ease, internal peace, just stillness. You can switch it on and off at any moment. Like it's something, you have the power to do that. It's in your hands to do that. It's not dependent on anything outside of you to find that sense of internal stillness, peace, ease, groundedness. That is what's in your control in the present moment. When you have no idea what the die is going to be cast, you have no idea what's coming, the thing you have control over is your ability to find center in yourself in the present moment. And so what do you get to have when you do that? Well, what's cool, the first thing that comes up is like I see a bunch of other people around you with their own version of this lightsaber, and it's like the light beams sort of go up and kind of connect together at a point. So there's a sense of oneness in that. It's kind of like this stillness, the internal peace, that sort of sense is something that we all have access to. And it's just consciousness. It's conscious awareness that is separate from identity, that is separate from ego, that is separate from all the minutiae and details of everyday life. It's just consciousness. And so that is the same in all of us. That simple awareness is something that we all share. And so it looks like when you access this in yourself, you're sort of connecting to that same consciousness that runs through everyone, because it is the same, is what I'm seeing here. What else do you get to have as far as planning for the future, let's say? What do you get to have in relationship to that? Well, it's like you take this sense of grounding with you towards each next step, each next point. So the next step that is revealed or the next thing that comes along the path, it's like you've got your yellow lightsaber of presence with you. It's like it's kind of like I'm seeing it like skipping stones or like stepping from one stone to another, and you have this with you each step of the way. So this is like the ability to ground in each present moment as it comes. And so it becomes less about, oh God, the future, what's happening in the future, and more about this present moment, and then this present moment, and then this present moment. And the energy is just so much lighter compared to the intense focus and the kind of strain originally. There's so much more lightness. There's a sense of amusement. There's a sense of even like play and just like going with the flow and ease here, because you have this centeredness and because it's like present moment, present moment, present moment. And how does that impact what it is that you are working towards in the future, or what it is that you are looking towards? It's almost like you get to enjoy it more. And the richness, the fullness of the experience that comes to you in the future, it's that much richer and more full because you have been present for each step along the way, rather than anxious and hyper-focused or distracted or all of those things. You get to actually have the thing that it is you want, or that you're moving towards, so much more when you're present in each moment along the way. Okay, is there anything else, any other important information about this for the week ahead? Anything for us to know? There's like a red envelope that just sort of drops in and appears and opens up, and it just says in big letters, like, "You got this." That's not something I see a lot. It's kind of cute and funny. So you got this. And just bringing a sense, like there's so much amusement with this letter that drops in, and just a sense of lightness and like, this is a weird journey that we're all on, and the twists and turns and the unexpected stuff, and that's all part of it. And it's the sense of presence for all those things that makes it an adventure, rather than a plotting and planning something out and structuring it, making it fit, like linear. Rather than being linear, it becomes an adventure that you are actually living, rather than just planning for or orienting towards. It's a much richer experience. Cool. I know I needed to hear that. I hope that it serves you as well in the week ahead, or whenever it is that you're listening to this. These readings are not bound to time and space. So if you come upon this a week from now, a month from now, years from now, trust that this is for you in this present moment. And I invite you to share this with anybody who you think might also benefit from it as well. Like, subscribe. I get annoyed when people say those things, but it's true that it really helps support this work and helps more people find these videos. And that's why I'm doing this, is so that I can share these messages in hopes that they serve as many people as possible. So thank you so much for being here, for tuning in. As always, I love you. I'm sending you so much love for the week ahead, and I will see you next week.